Geronimo Stilton, The Kingdom of Fantasy, Part 10. Once again, a musical note tinkled. It was an A. The amethyst in the music box lifted up. Beneath it, I saw a word engraved in the Fantasian alphabet. I wondered what it said. But I was too cold to worry about it. That's because we were standing in the middle of snow-covered mountains. The icy air stung our lungs. Ooh, cheese niblets. I was freezing my tail off. It's always winter in the icy kingdom of the giants, King Factual explained. Some call it the land of the never-ending snowflakes. I shivered. Don't get me wrong, I like snowflakes as much as the next rodent. I just like them when I'm inside my mouse hole drinking a nice cup of hot cheddar. Before long, we discovered the map of the Kingdom of the Giants. It was sculpted on a piece of granite. The gnomes, the toad, and I studied the map, engraved on that piece of rock. Princess Scatterbrain and Trick were busy playing with a large pine cone. The pine cone rolled down a hill, and they ran after it. That's when disaster struck. The pine cone settled in the middle of a frozen lake. When Princess Scatterbrain tried to reach it, she crashed right through the ice. Whew, talk about an icebreaker. Luckily, we found a chain and were able to pull her out. Meanwhile, here's a little bit of information about the Kingdom of the Giants. They prefer the color indigo and the gem amethyst. They really like the metal titanium and the musical note A. The Kingdom of the Giants is ruled... Well, actually, unfortunately, there's no longer a king in the Kingdom of the Giants. But when there was, he was called King of the Knights, Protector of Truth, Defender of the Damsels in Distress, and the Governor of Generosity. He ruled from the royal palace called Falcon's Beak. And the kingdom is actually simply guarded by the year-round glaciers covering the mountains. They use the gigantic rubble as a currency in the kingdom, and they speak something called gigantesque. And according to Greek legends, the giants were brought to life to avenge the Titans, who had been imprisoned by Zeus. Famous giants include Goliath, whose name means all the enemies of the earth. Polyphemus, the one-eyed Cyclops, Yspadon, whose look could paralyze an entire army, and Vipunen, also known as the Guardian of Enchantments. Anyway, after we pulled Princess Scatterbrain from the ice, she was so cold she couldn't breathe fire for 10 whole minutes. Finally, we started off again along a white gravel road. Massive statues of proud warriors stared down at us as we passed by. This is the road of the ancient kings. Once, there were many members of the royal family, but now they're all gone. Ribbit. There is no one to wear the crown of the King of the Giants, Scribblehopper told us. Suddenly, I noticed a giant shadow among the statues. Uh, who is it? Who is that? I trembled. But no one answered. My whiskers were quivering with fear. Who is it? Who's there? I stammered. Just then, someone pinched my tail. Was it a monster? Was it a giant? Was it a giant monster? Suddenly, I heard a teeny tiny laugh. I whipped around. It was just that pesky pixie Trick again. He'd been playing tricks on me ever since I'd met him. Now he tied my tail up in a knot. Then he stuck out his tongue at me. Look at the night, oh, what a sight. He's shaking with fear, it's perfectly clear. He teased, running off. I was steaming mad. That was it. It was time to put my paw down. I was sick and tired of Trick's annoying pranks. I took off after him. My friends cheered me on. Go get him, Knight, they called. Teach him a lesson, they shouted. The pixie thumbed his nose at us. He hopped up onto one of the statues and climbed up out of the warrior's horse and tipped out to the tip of his sword. You can't catch me, furry snout. All you can do is cry and pout. Trick sneered. I gnashed my teeth together. I was ready to shake him. I was ready to squeeze him. But was I ready to risk my neck to save him? The pixie had slipped. He was dangling off the statue from his hat. Help! He squealed. I'm gonna fall! I started to climb up the statue. But at the top, I suddenly remembered something. I'm afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights. Be careful, Sir Geronimo, Scribblehopper cried. I looked down. My friends looked so tiny. Holy cheese! I was practically touching the clouds. My paws began to shake and sweat poured down from my fur. Oh, why did I climb up so high? I wasn't a monkey. I was a mouse. Well, correction. I was a scaredy mouse. Please save me, Trix begged. If I fall, I'll be nothing but pixie jam. What could I do? Even though the pixie was a pest, he didn't deserve to be turned into pixie jam. At last, I reached the very top of the statue. Give me your hand, quick, I told the pixie. I grabbed him just before his cap ripped in two. We carefully climbed back down. As soon as we reached the ground, Trick threw his tiny arms around me. Then he sang a song to me. You are so gentle and kind and brave. I'll never forget that my life, the pixie, you did save.